What's going on, everybody? Nigeria Chambers here from Big O Belt Media. We're at WonderCon 2024. And I'm with a person that's probably going to be mad at me by the end of this interview. Nonetheless, no, we're going to have fun. Introduce yourself, buddy.
My name is Austin Roth. I am a re-recording mixer and sound effects editor.
What shows?
I've worked on Euphoria and The Idol for HBO, and Painkiller and Griselda for Netflix.
What's that first show you said?
Euphoria.
Oh, the show that everybody's wanting to know. No, seriously, we are rooting for season 3, so hopefully if you're a part of that, and it's just all your people you work with in the past, hopefully y'all get that green light soon, because the fans are starving.
I believe
One of the best shows on television.
Really, I love it.
Yeah. and going to Painkiller, I wasn't aware that you worked on that too. That was a show that really hit home. I'm from Washington, D.C., so like West Virginia, and honestly, we're still very much in an opioid crisis.
Yeah.
So just being able to really see that story be told on that front was like extremely surreal, shall I say. Working on these different themes, and we're definitely going to talk about Griselda. Oh my God, Griselda is amazing. But just when you work on the theme that deep and heavy, how do you approach it, and how do you leave from it?
Yeah, so we kind of, I feel like our company has been like typecast to just do shows that deal with drugs and like depression. It's like Euphoria, drugs. Then it went to Painkiller, drugs. Then it was like Idol, drugs. Even Griselda, cocaine, drugs. So we haven't done a show yet that its focus wasn't drugs. But we got pretty good at doing that. I have a big library of coke snorts and and exhales. I feature myself as a few of those. But it's it's dark, and they're all dark in their own ways. The Idol, Euphoria is, I didn't grow up in a high school that was like that. So
not at all.
I distance myself. I'm like, okay, is anybody? We're like, does anyone actually go to a high school like
It's got to be Southern Cal or something I don't know about. Because I'd say the same thing. Like, where has this happened at?
Right. So then it's easy for me to kind of distance myself and be like, it's the job, and I go home. Painkiller, I'm not personally affected by it, but I know it's such a real issue.
Yeah.
So we see, we watch the edits, and as the show progresses, we're like, this is dark. And the first sort of iteration of the show, I won't say it was funny, but it had like sort of this interesting sort of like goofy twist on it that we weren't totally sure about, and Netflix agreed. They were like, look, like the core of the story is very dark. Like, we should not be shedding any like goofiness around this. Yeah. And so we kind of like redid the whole show and made it just like way more dark. Let's just really, the core of this is sadness. And so let's not try to like poke fun at this. Like, these are real families. Right. And the testimonials at the beginning of the show, each episode had their own testimonial from a different family. Right. It was a very last minute ad that the director Peter Berg did, just to really hammer in that this really is affecting people currently. Yeah. And so it is. It's a show that's like a little tough. You go home and you gotta like brush off that it's sad. But at the end of the day, you're there to do a job, and all I can do is my best to help represent these families that were actually impacted by it. So it kind of motivates me to like want to do my best work. Yeah.
A moment to digest that a little bit here before I ask this very silly question.
Sure.
Bigger drug dealer, Big Pharma or Griselda?
Let's see. Big Pharma, obviously big money, but Griselda, ruthless.
Man.
Ruthless. She, I'm just glad I didn't have to meet her.
That released, was it early January, right?
That was January 25th was the release date. And, it was that show. When we first heard of that show, we were going to do The Idol. And we were like, we had to pick one or the other. Yeah. We ended up doing both of them at the same time. So
now get that check.
But it was like we were doing The Idol, Painkiller, and Griselda all at the same time. It was just like rotating from one sad story to the next sad story. But Griselda was awesome because we got to work with the composer Carlos Rafael, who my boss got Godless and Queen's Gambit with.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've been a fan of Carlos's, so it was really cool. It was like this tight-knit group. We all knew each other, so that process was really fun.
Yeah.
And like Sofia Vergara is great. Everyone is fantastic in this show.
Yeah.
The music is great.
Yeah.
It was really, really fun show to work on.
The show production is so good in every aspect, and even focusing on the music too. It's like at a point like you kind of glorify her because it matches her aesthetic, and Sophia's just an amazing actor. So obviously you secretly want to root for her because that's still Sophia.
It's an interesting. That's something I've thought about a lot. Is she's your protagonist, but like she's a really bad person. It's like you're rooting for her, but at the end of the day, you're like, but wait, she killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
But then you kind of like. You're like, but those were bad people she killed, so I can live with that.
American culture, we absolutely glorify these big bad people in over the world, and not everybody, but particular glorified drug dealers. And like at no point, I was like, yeah, that's a bad person I like. So,
exactly.
And I'm like, oh shit, I need to check myself a little bit here. But and I think also too, like, come on now, Miami in that era, the cars, the whole backdrop,
The music, like I mean, I was born in the '90s, but I love disco music.
Yeah,
that show. They used to have the song "Man Eater" in there, which is one of my favorite songs. So I love mixing that. When they were in the club, they ended up cutting it because it was too expensive. I was like, oh my heart.
That's an important thing.
But there was so much other good music in there. And it was that. Probably one of my favorite parts of that show was getting to mix all the music.
Yeah.
Both the original stuff that Carlos was making, as well as just all the huge disco hits that were coming out at the time.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. So, as now you really put out some amazing projects here, anything we'd be looking forward to coming up? Maybe able to share?
So I, over December, mixed a movie that went to Sundance. Premiered at Sundance. It was purchased by Netflix. It was called It's What's Inside.
I didn't cover that. I did see it though.
So that'll be coming out in probably the fall. So that was a feature we did, kind of a sci-fi kind of thriller. Really fun. Really excited for that. And then we're doing another show for Netflix called American Primeval. Also with Peter Berg, who we did Painkiller with, and that is 1850s. Very dark, very brutal.
Drugs? No, I'm just playing.
No drugs. Well, there is with some peyote. No escaping it, baby. We'll get it in there somewhere or another. So, they're
gonna flag this video. They're gonna be like, yeah, we know what y'all did after this. No, y'all, no.
People are like, are you a method mixer? Do you have to get in the mindset of your actors when you create all these distorted realities? No.
The read tables, everybody's just whole big table of just white things, all lines.
Exactly.
Nah, but that's hilarious. Yeah. Looking forward to that. Yeah. But last question. First WonderCon, been here before?
First WonderCon.
Welcome.
It's been awesome.
Amazing.
I mean, my experience was great just walking to the panel because I'm like, he's just doing a lot of this. Hold my hand, just like pull me along. Let me just look at all the cool outfits. Love it. Love to be back. This is great. And
amazing.
It's just, I'm up in the valley, but it's a short trek, so I'll do it.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, none of your shows would have cosplayers out there. I mean, there might be some real people out there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's funny.
Real life.
Yeah, that's just called real life. Thank you so much for your time today. Absolutely, I appreciate it, buddy.